Thursday for the period 2025-2029. In a ceremony presided by President Delcy Rodriguez, the members of the Legislative Council of the state carried out the swearing-in process as established by the Venezuelan Constitution. During the act, Governor Villamizar emphasized that this is a historic moment for the Guyana Essequiba, a special moment for the country, and confirmed that the Essequiba belongs to Venezuela. Villamizar highlighted the implementation of the Essequiba 7T program adapted to the needs of the territory with a strong popular focus. Furthermore, the governor emphasized that his administration will focus on miners, producers, entrepreneurs, and the indigenous people, which represent 90% of the state's population.
The Guyana Essequiba is a national feeling. The Essequibo is ours. Long live the Guyana Essequiba. It is a historic day for the homeland. We are living what I call the times of recovery of our Guyana Essequiba.
The governor of Guyana Essequiba also highlighted his commitment to solve the state's territorial controversy.
The commitment to carry out all the necessary actions to create that series of conditions that will allow us to promote the solution to the controversy in the first place. This controversy that must be solved according to the popular mandate, also in this referendum, must be solved within the framework of the provisions of the Geneva Convention of 1966, and also, now, a strategy to bring this attention to all our people, to our people of Essequibo.
During the solemn swearing-in ceremony, the Executive Vice President of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, reaffirmed that the political status of the Guyana Essequiba had been born.
At this moment, we are writing history. The political status of our Guyana Essequiba has been born. We have a card that gives us the right to live and act in a territory that belongs to us. No one has any doubt. There are two historical truths. The first one is that when we were born as a republic, we already had this territory. We already had it, with a title, with legitimate rights. And the second great truth was the robbery and plunder committed by the English.
In another part of her speech, Rodriguez stressed the political and diplomatic mechanism established by the Geneva Agreement to settle issues regarding the Guyana Essequiba.
You know, as our governor said, the controversy over the territory of the Guyana Essequiba has only one legal, diplomatic and political course, which is the Geneva Agreement of 1966. In that agreement, it is recognized that there was a dispossession. In that agreement, it is recognized that there is a controversy that must be settled. The injustice committed against Venezuela is recognized, and it is clearly established that the mechanism for negotiation is the political and diplomatic way.
U.S. President Donald Trump admitted Thursday that he put an end to the Nord Stream 2 second project. The statement was made during a meeting with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, where Trump added that he now regrets having stopped the gas pipeline that sent gas from Russia to Germany. The U.S. president also stressed that his country has enough oil and gas resources, so they will work on a way to export them. The U.S. head of state also assured the German Chancellor that Washington will reach a good tariff agreement with the European Union. The first edition of the Agro Alba 2025 Expo Fair continues in the city of Caracas, Venezuela. The event brings together Alba TCP member states as well as invited countries, investors and businessmen from different regions of the world. As part of the two-day agenda, ministers from different productive portfolios have held several briefings and meetings. The Executive Secretary of Alba TCP, Jorge Arreaza, highlighted the extraordinary potential of its member states. The Agro Alba initiative was proposed by President Nicolás Maduro Moros during the bloc's 24th Summit of Heads of State and Government last December, with the aim of taking advantage of the potential of Venezuela and other member nations to achieve food sovereignty.
And now, with this initiative of AgroAlba, we are sure that the call we have made to businessmen and businesswomen social movement of peasants and farmers will allow us to really build a path of splendor, a path of prosperity, a path of national sovereignty. It is a really ambitious task that has been launched and given to us by the Summit of Presidents and Heads of State and Government of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of our Americas. Here there has been a team that has responded to that. You have responded to that. We have already signed some agricultural and livestock exploitation agreements to develop in Venezuela the food production that our region needs.
The United States Supreme Court rejected the Mexican government's $10 billion lawsuit against firearms manufacturers for contributing to the armed violence of drug trafficking cartels. Judge Elena Kagan alleged that the Mexican lawsuit does not credibly prove that the companies have directly aided and abetted the illegal sale of weapons to criminal groups. The decision made by the U.S. entity protects manufacturers from liability when products are used in criminal acts. In this sense, Mexico argues that these negligent commercial practices of the manufacturers poorly regulated facilitate trafficking in Mexican territory, fueling violence and suffering in the country. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum condemned the recent aggressions perpetrated by the State Education Workers Union, SETEG, and any form of violence against the governor's palace.
De acuerdo. Y
We do not agree, and I think that the teachers either approve or distance themselves, because how is it possible that there is a dialogue table and they have chosen the commission that was going to enter the dialogue table with the Secretary of Government?
posible que haya una mesa de diálogo, que ellos hayan elegido a la comisión que iba a entrar a la mesa de diálogo con la Secretaria de Gobernación, con el Secretario
With the Secretary of Public Education. And suddenly, a group of people, because there were very few, started to throw stones, wanting to break the door of government.
queriendo romper la puerta de gobernación. Es un grupo pequeño, de mucha provocación.
They are a small group, very provocative, so the teachers who are mobilizing should distance themselves from them, or assume it, because we are against any action of violence.
Nosotros estamos en contra de cualquier...
President Sheinbaum also called to urgently set up a high-level negotiation table between Colombia and Mexico regarding mutual security and cooperation due to the recent attack carried out by a Colombian criminal group in Michoacán.
Una detención muy importante en Michoacán, en los límites con...
There was a very important arrest in Michoacán on the border with Jalisco, where unfortunately members of the National Guard died by an explosive device and members of a criminal group were arrested, and there were several Colombians involved.
miembros de un grupo criminal y ahí había varios colombianos. No es la primera vez que se detiene.
It is not the first time that people of that nationality are arrested. When I was head of government in the city of Mexico, there were also arrests of other nationalities, but particularly Colombians.
Particularmente colombianos. Desde hace ya algunos meses quizá, inclusive
For some months now, and I even mentioned it directly to President Petro, and also our foreign minister have been looking into creating a high-level group for security issues between Colombia and Mexico, and there have already been some meetings.
ya ha habido alguna reunión.
Moreover, the Mexican head of state indicated that she will wait for a meeting with the United States Undersecretary of State, Christopher Landau, before making an approach for steel and aluminum.
Vamos a ver cómo...
We are going to see how the meeting turns out this Friday. Remember that on the 11th, on that day, Secretary Landau is coming to Mexico.
El día 11 viene el subsecretario Landó a México. Es uno de los temas que vamos a...
This is one of the issues we are going to talk to him about. Then we are going to wait before making the proposals for steel and aluminum.
hacer los planteamientos.
In Venezuela, the newly elected governor to the Guyana Esequiba state, Neil Villamizar, was sworn in on Thursday for the period 2025-2029 in a ceremony presided by President Delcy Rodriguez. The members of the Legislative Council of the state carried out the swearing-in process as established by the Venezuelan Constitution. During the act, Governor Villamizar emphasized that this is a historic moment for the Guyana Esequiba, a special moment for the country, and confirmed that the Esequiba belongs to Venezuela. Villamizar highlighted the implementation of the Esequiba 7T